Remember when? Remember when Vladimir Putin claimed he invaded Ukraine because NATO was getting too big and too strong in his own backyard? How'd that work out? Today, NATO formally invited Sweden and Finland to join its military alliance. The move is a significant blow to Putin himself and boosts NATO's eastern flank. Finland shares an 800-mile border with Russia. The Finns also have a solid military that is trained extensively with American and NATO troops. Today's decision also means that Sweden is ending more than 200 years of military neutrality. Today, the Secretary General of NATO spoke to reporters in Madrid. They asked him whether Ukraine could join NATO next. He said the alliance would offer other types of support.
Allies will continue to provide major military and financial help. Also, it's very clear that allies are prepared for long haul. Wars are unpredictable, but we have to be prepared for the long haul.
The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky released this video today. He says it shows the moment a Russian missile, hit a crowded shopping center in central Ukraine on Monday. Zelensky says Moscow had wanted to kill as many people as possible in an act of what he called state terrorism. Ukrainian officials say the attack killed at least 18 and injured dozens of others. In a moment, we'll hear from the former NATO Supreme Allied Commander, Admiral James Stavridis. But first, CNBC senior White House correspondent Kayla Tausche traveling with the president live in Madrid. Kayla, Putin is now responding.
He is, Chef. Vladimir Putin this evening warned Russia would respond in kind if NATO's footprint expanded north. And he suggested he could pursue different tactics in Ukraine to achieve his goals, which he said have not changed. NATO, for its part today in Madrid, said that Russia's actions to date have permanently altered the security landscape, doubling down on defensive allied territory and multiplying by 8 the number of NATO forces ready to deploy quickly. The United States is adding an undisclosed number of troops to the 100,000 already stationed in Europe. In Poland, the first permanent forces on the eastern flank, they'll serve as sort of a hub for deployments in the region. New rotating brigades in Romania and the Baltics, and various air defense systems and personnel in Western and Southern Europe. Today, President Biden said the threats are coming from all directions.
In the moment when Putin has shattered peace in Europe and attacked the very tenets of rule-based order, the United States and our allies, we're going to step up.
Today, Mr. Biden met with Turkey's president. For the cameras, they discussed the global supply of oil and grain. But President Erdogan has said he would again request new F-16 fighter jets from Mr. Biden in this meeting, which came after dropping Turkey's opposition to Sweden and Finland's membership bids. A senior U.S. official denied the two actions were linked. But the White House seemingly endorsed this deal. The Assistant Secretary of Defense for International Security Affairs telling reporters this today. Quote, the United States supports Turkey's modernization of its fighter fleet because that is a contribution to NATO's security and therefore American security. And while the alliance very clearly today declared Russia as the most immediate threat, its 10-year framework also called out the People's Republic of China, warning in a lengthy rebuke of its opaque ambitions and growing nuclear arsenal.